Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to the video. It's Monday afternoon. It's a new week. It is sweltering hot. As much as we like the heat and I like the sunshine, it is difficult to work in, but we're cracking on. Stay hydrated, plenty of fluids, sort of thing. Gillian is back in today. She has enjoyed 2 weeks off with her daughter's wedding, so she's just been back in getting caught up. But as you can see, I am in the new office again. It's getting us by, but it's quite nice to have my own space. It's nowhere near finished and stuff, but yeah, slowly getting there.
Prepping the land, getting it ready for the turf, getting the rockery going, interesting levels to plant on, and then today we've been laying turf the whole day and it looks pretty damn good. Oh, this job, I like doing the rocks, that was fun.
Thumbs up, way! Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to the video. It's Monday afternoon. I have been out and about most of the day between the job site that Damien and Joe are just on at the moment and also taking the digger to a new job site. So it's a new week. It is sweltering hot. As much as we like the heat and I like the sunshine, it is difficult to work in, but we're cracking on. Stay hydrated, plenty of fluids, sort of thing. Got two teams out in the regular grass cuts, yeah, starting the week with that again. Usual crack. Gillian is back in today. She has enjoyed 2 weeks off with her daughter's wedding, so she's just been back in getting caught up. Quite a few things to catch up on, and it's quite good to have her back and stay on top of things because I have not really been anywhere near the office since she's been away. So, but as you can see, I am in the new office again. I've got sort of temporary Wi-Fi set up until we get the Starlink connected to this container. I say container only because it is essentially an office container, and the Starlink signal, I think this sort of being a container just kills any sort of signal trying to get through. So I've got the old Wi-Fi set up, which is just off O2, which it's working. It's getting us by, but it's quite nice to have my own space. Kind of got everything sort of set up. It's nowhere near finished and stuff, but yeah, slowly getting there. Damien and Joe are just getting finished up on the job. They should be done today. I'm going to give them a phone to see if they need a hand to finish up. But yeah, that'll be good to get that one out of the way, get the final bill in and move on to the next one. We have seen a significant amount of spending this month, purely because of this bad boy here and also the trailers. Forklift, absolutely necessary. We rely on the forklift now, having a yard and having materials and stuff, and the Moffat was just past its sell by date, to say the least. We managed to trade in the old Moffat and also the cement mixer, big cement mixer that we never really used, so yeah, made a bit of saving that way. Also got rid of two things that again needed rid of, so that was good. And then also traded in the 3 trailers that we already had. Obviously I've explained this all in the previous video. If you haven't watched it, what are you doing here? Traded in the 3 old trailers that we had for 2 new ones. It's been great just to hook them on, tow them, not have to worry about lights or anything. Everything's sound, everything's tight, it's not loose, it's perfect. Damien's got the tipping trailer on at the moment. He carried some gravel out to the job as well as the materials, and I've christened the trailer with moving the digger today from that job to a new job that we're just starting. So lots going on, regular maintenance plus the projects that we turn out week in, week out. it's been quite a good combination this year. We've seen a lot of growth in the ability to turn out more work. Before, when it was just myself and maybe 2 others or 3, there was like a week of grass cutting, and then there's a week of one-off work, so we were constantly jumping in between the two. But now we have the capacity to carry on with the regular work whilst also turning out the projects, which has significantly increased our output and our turnover, etc. And yeah, just made things bigger, and I guess we're making more money. Obviously, once you start expanding and growing and making more money, that comes with a significant cost and increased wages and vans, tools, machinery, material. So it doesn't mean bigger is always better. I was just having this discussion today, back when I was working by myself and making the money, and it was just kind of going into my pocket when I was just like myself or maybe one other. What you made was almost yours, or it wasn't allocated somewhere else. You could go and do what you wanted with it, or reinvest it in stuff. Now it's almost like you send a $2,000 bill out, it's like, okay, cool, that's covering a wage for a month or something, something like that. It's just funny how it sort of changes. So now I know what people say when they say don't scale, don't get staff, don't do all this sort of stuff. But as much as it is hard and it's difficult and it isn't easy to scale up, it always used to dishearten me the fact that people said it's not worth it, it's not worth the hassle. Managing people is just a nightmare. I'd like to think I've got a bit of a different view on it. Don't think a lot of businesses go about it in the right way, and they don't approach things in the right way with managing people. No, I've not got it sussed. No, it's not easy, but I think the whole traditional look at it is pretty outdated in my opinion. And what I'm trying to build here with a culture where everyone feels a bit more involved. I'm not naive in the fact that this is my business, it's not theirs. They're not going to care about it anywhere near as much as me. But I'm a believer in the fact that if you come to work and you enjoy where you work and you enjoy the people and the company that you're in and the business that you're working for, you're naturally going to work a little bit harder and do a better job. And then also just enjoy your job and not go where the money is. I really don't think people chase money that much. If you have the best paying job ever, but it's a shit job and you hate the boss, you hate the guys you're working with, and you hate the environment, you hate the work, you're not going to last long, because ultimately work is the majority of your life. Because ultimately we spend the majority of our time at work, whether you like it or not. We do, and unfortunately you cannot get the things that you want, or buy the things or give the opportunities for yourself or your kids or your family if you don't work. I feel like there's such a negative stigma around working and working for people and working for a boss. There's such a big thing about going and starting your own business and being an entrepreneur and working all hours of the day and being big and successful and all that sort of stuff. That isn't for everyone, really. Sometimes I question if it's for me, but I don't think that's really fair. And the people that are happy just working in a job and having a good life and not having to worry about all the bullshit that I have to do. The only reason I'm speaking about this is because I've had that many people come and say, oh man, you must have it so good and it must be great and all this yada yada. Don't get me wrong, from the outside in it probably looks great, we're doing well and stuff, but it's not easy. The majority of my guys, when they go home, they switch off at 5 o'clock and then that's them for the night. I'm constantly thinking ahead, or worrying about this, worrying about money, worrying about issues with clients and stuff, etc. It is not for everyone. It's plain and simple. Yeah, I just felt like it was necessary to kind of approach that subject because, yeah, I do get it quite a lot, and it's like, oh yeah, it's I almost hear myself coming up with the same answer every time, like, oh yeah, it's not easy. Swings and roundabouts, ups and downs. You know yourself. So yeah, don't be fooled. I don't want to sound like a broken record and say, oh, it's hard, but again, I'm just trying to show the reality of what it is and what it actually takes. Yes, there's positives from it, there's good opportunities, and when things go well, it's great, but a lot of times it doesn't, so just something to bear in mind. I'm going to show you my fan. I bought a desk fan because it's absolutely cooking in here. It's absolutely roasting. Well, I'm concerned that because it's not insulated, it just heats up. In the winter, I'd imagine it's going to be freezing too. So, right folks, welcome back. It's Tuesday afternoon to be precise. We have started a job that, if you remember, being a loyal viewer, myself and Enrico were here. We were driving by and I pulled in because this is a regular customer that we look after the lawn that's already here. This bed, this area over here, and the one I'm standing on, was all covered in tarpaulin. Obviously it was just back to back bare soil when it was initially done. The house was initially built and the client hadn't done anything with it. So yeah, I pulled into the property, gave the client a phone who's down south, and said, is it something you'd be interested in getting this sort of landscaped and turfed? And that phone call, albeit a few months ago, has turned into us coming to finish it off. And we've got the job of landscaping the front. So me being proactive and suggesting to the customer that we can come and do this and landscape it and turf it, what have you, although it wasn't at the time, as the client didn't have the sort of finances available to do it. He does now, and we are, we've made a start. We have broken ground. How you doing? So that's what we're doing now. We are building a bit of a rockery down the front. We're going to be turfing turfing both sides. A rockery down the front of this one as well. Got the digger here to move the stones. The digger has moved quite a few big stones. These ones you can see here. So we've just started to place some of the stones that we had into a bit of a formation. So this front face and this front bed here is going to be, a bed. A rockery bed, and then beyond it will be grass. We're not going to be planting this, not that I'm aware of. I think the customer will be, but we're just going to get it prepared and just get it into a blank canvas for planting. So really nice property, beautiful stonework, and it's going to be a great one for the portfolio. Again, just trying to highlight the fact that if I didn't pick up the phone and phone the customer, we may not have got this job. Obviously we maintain the grass for him anyway, so the chances are he would have maybe suggested to us to landscape it, but there's nothing wrong with picking up the phone and trying to offer your customers more. The A-team back together.
Like the good old days.
The good old days. Or the bad days.
The dark days.
The dark days. Morning folks, it is Wednesday. Again, the week is flying and started a new project here. The guys, Mo and Aaron back there, are digging out some concrete. So a bit of a backstory. Initially, where Damien's working now, we had given a sort of price to do the work. The client didn't really want to spend that much at the sort of time, but we have been given the shout to come and do next doors and pretty much do identical to what this customer's wanting. So got the green light for that, and I came back and I spoke to this client here saying, if we're going to be here anyway, doing next doors, there's a saving to be made for both of us. Do you want to go ahead? And we have got both jobs. So again, just being proactive and sort of knocking on the door and explaining things and just giving the opportunity with the incentive of being a little bit less, because the cost ultimately is a little bit less because we don't have to mobilise to come here and do two separate jobs. They are, they're back to back. They're right next to each other. It's the same style of job, so they can be mixed in together. There'll be savings to made logistically that way. So that's what we're doing. So back on site. Yeah, we've made some good progress on this side. Got a lot of sort of material to sift through and get rid of. A lot of stones and sort of debris, trying to separate it from the nice soil. We will be taking some topsoil in here to cap it. Probably need to build up some in between the stones to create a bit more of a waving feature through the rockery. So we've just kind of placed them into certain sections. It's the sort of thing I was thinking about, like how do we do it properly, and is there certain ways to go about it, but it is very much sort of make it up as you go. It's a natural feature. There's no straight lines or, specific ways to do it, but it's quite nice to sort of make that up as you go along. Why don't you choose the digger?
Got my machine.
I'm waiting for it.
Committed now.
Are you the supervisor, are you?
I've got my ticket for that.
Oh, the ticket, yeah. Spade and Matic ticket.
Rough moving.
Kyle's very qualified, you see.
Yeah.
I think it might be a digger job.
It's gonna be. Hey.
Good morning, it's Friday and we're in the yard. There was a bit of waiting about this morning whilst we waited for Gary to go and pick up the turf for the job. There's about 200 rolls. I've over-ordered because there's going to be quite a lot of cutting, I guess, and a lot of waste, so I think we needed about 170 odd, so I've got 30 more. We can use the rest of the turf on another job, and I've got some people who would like some too, so yeah, if there's any left over we can reuse it there. But yeah, we were just getting the jobs ready this morning, waiting for Gary to come. Gary has just came and dropped off the turf, so we've got one pallet there, one that was already on the trailer. He had two on the lorry, so we've unloaded the lorry, put one onto the beaver tail to go out to the job, and I'm just about to hook on the trailer to take it out to the job as well. We're also having a bit of a clear out in the yard. Ed has accumulated quite a load of wood, questionable load, but yeah. You good to go? Yeah, we'll see you out there. Kyle, if you can leave me room to reverse right up onto the chips at the back. Same old blue chip. What? Same old. Fair difference though compared to what it was.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a squint line.
You watching? This is where I haven't cut through it probably.
Yeah, of course.
I haven't. Oh,
Take
no.
two.
So guys, it is about 5:10 on Friday. The guys have not long just left. We finally finished this job. This job took a little bit longer than we'd hoped. The ground preparation took a little bit longer than we'd hoped. There's a lot of stones and stuff in here that we needed to sift through to get the soil right before we turfed it. We also did introduce some new soil to the area just to try and give a bit more nutrients back into it. It had been covered in a teram membrane for a long time, maybe a few years since it's been built actually, and we've been maintaining this property for a few years, so the ground was pretty poor and dry, so we introduced about 10 to 12 ton of soil in here, topped up all the areas. We've created a rockery along the front on both sides. It's quite a statement coming up into this garden. The either side of the drive is it has a lovely stone wall. So this is something that we really wanted to get done for the client and do to a high standard as always, but this is again the key feature, what you see coming into the property. And yeah, we couldn't be happier with how it's turned out. We've created a sort of natural waving lawn on either side with plenty room for planting, which the client will either do themselves or get us in to do at a later date. But yeah, touching back on what I said at the start of the video, this is one that we approached the client and said, listen, we'd like to help you finish this garden. Can we help? And although I can't mind when it was, back in the year, I phoned the client to offer them this. They weren't available and they weren't in a position to do it at the time. However, what it has turned into now is a project that we've got on our portfolio in the books. They're not here yet, but hopefully another happy customer. They've seen photos and everything so far, and they've been delighted with it. So yeah, I can't see them being disappointed at all. again, really happy how it's turned out. I'm looking forward to hearing the client's thoughts. And I want to say a big thank you to the guys for getting this done, staying till 5 o'clock on a Friday. They'll just be back at the yard getting unloaded now, so I appreciate the dedication, and I think it's a job that they've also been proud to complete. It's been a great team effort from everyone, I would say. I think everyone's had a piece of the pie here, and yeah, it's Friday. It's been a long week, and I hope it's been semi-entertaining for you guys. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Diary of a 23-year-old business owner, landscape business owner, that's me, please give us a thumbs up and leave your comments down below. Your feedback means a lot to us, and it is very important that I know people take something from these videos, because they take a lot to put together. It takes a lot of effort to pick up the camera when you're trying to run a business. The days when Enrico is here, it's a lot easier. So yeah, I do try and make them as entertaining as I can. Right guys, it's Saturday. Don't normally bring the camera out on Saturday, but I just wanted to jump on and basically just share the interaction I had with the customer there. Now, obviously, as I mentioned in the video a couple of times, and if you remember way back when we actually approached the customer and said, look, we'd love to help to landscape the garden. Is this something you'd be interested in? Would you like a price? And although at the time they weren't in a position to do so, we've just met the customer there. They've just came up last night, and they're absolutely delighted with the finished result of the garden. He couldn't have a bad word to say. The level of detail and workmanship that we have done in the garden, he's over the moon with. And he also mentioned the fact that he was glad that I reached out to him, because they'd always been thinking about what they were going to do with the area, and if they were going to turn it into a wildflower meadow, and if they would do it themselves and stuff. But me reaching out to him and suggesting that we could help and do it for them was a sort of icing on the cake, and what got the ball moving. And although again wasn't at the time, we've now done the project and he is over the moon. So just to further reinforce something that I learned this year, and that is, it is not your customer's responsibility to remember to do business with you. Common misconception is, if someone wants something, they will come to you and ask for it. Now, in many cases that is true. However, a lot of times it is not on the people's top priority list, and sometimes they need a prompt in order to get moving with that. Now, if you've got work coming out your ears and you're busy as it is, you're obviously going to think, no, I'm not going to bother phoning up customers and saying this is what, we can do this for you, etc. That is a good position to be in. And I used to be like that. But the moment you start growing a team and you grow the business, you have multiple teams on the go, you get through the work that you've already got relatively quicker, obviously, because you've got multiple teams. And it is important that you continue to get work in, and there becomes a point where you actually start having to be proactive and getting the work. It's almost like when you start, you're initially having to push and get the work, and then as you've kind of established a little bit, the phone starts ringing, you get too busy and you're overwhelmed with work, and you're booked out in months in advance. The moment you start adding teams and expanding, then you have to accommodate that with work. If there's no work, there's no growth, there's no business. And that's one thing I've realised, is the most important thing in business is sales. If you have no sales, if you have no work, you have no business. And there's been times that we've been quiet in the sheer panic of, wow, we don't have enough work to keep the guys busy at the moment. I need to pull my finger out and go and get it. And it's not even the case that I might not have the work or have the inquiries coming in, but because I wasn't being proactive about it and on the ball and getting customers quotes and booked in and stuff, you get through the work you've already got and you're chasing your tail and it's all chaos. So just again, it's a sort of mindset shift that you need to do, because I used to be like that. Customers would inquire, or I'd hear from someone, or my family would say, he wants, can you give them a call? I'll be like, well, why don't they? I used to be like that as well. If someone wanted something, or if I heard that, he wants a little bit of work done, can you get in touch? I'd be like, well, why can't you get in touch with me? And I still sort of abide by that if it's a new customer and stuff. But going through the customers that you've already got and saying, is there anything more that we can do for you? Is there any other sort of aspects of the garden you want looked after, or if you want any sort of landscaping done, "Oh well, Ben, actually I've been meaning to get in touch with you, but it's just been swamped. So I'm glad you've phoned. But yeah, we actually do want to create a new area in the garden, or cut this back, or tidy this up." And again, just going back to that example there, we were driving past that project, myself and Enrico, months back, and I almost just wanted to test the analogy and prove the point. While I was at the property, I phoned up David and I said, "Look, we'd like to help in the garden. We'd like to, help renovate it for you and get it finished, because it was a cracking property. It'd be a great one for the portfolio. And we're trying to," this is what I said to him as well, I says, "we're trying to prioritise the customers that we already have and do more and give them better service." And that's something that he liked. He highlighted that when I just met him there. So again, I'm going to stop rambling now. I hope it makes sense. I hope it provides some value to you, because it has provided some value to me and has further reinforced that. Again, not everyone that you phone up will need your services, but it doesn't matter about the ones that don't need it. It's about the ones that do say yes, and it's about the business you get. So hope you've enjoyed the video, folks. I will catch you later.